Flexbox is very powerful. Like I said, if you understand this one, you can understand grid and you can work with the CSS frameworks like Bootstrap, Foundation. Okay, so there are the
Okay.
many CSS frameworks, so you can work with them easily. So how this Flexbox works? It is very simple. There's a predefined set of properties. We actually, it's like a container and jails relationship. Okay, Flexbox,
Mm.
where uh, you can take any container. What is a default display property? Flex is a display property. We have seen the other day. There are many display properties, right? That are block,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, in line.
yeah, block, inline, and inline block, table cell,
Mm.
table row. So many other out there.
Mm.
One of them is a flex.
Okay.
Okay, so and we have seen that many HTML elements come with default display properties. Like what is a display property for a div, which is a block. Okay, so what is a
Okay.
display property for a default display property for span, which is a inline. Okay,
Mm.
and paragraph is a block. Okay, so when
Okay.
you want to place some text without occupying whole space, you want to space inline something, you would use, instead of paragraph, you would use span. Okay, and you can make any HTML element a flex. All you need to do is, okay, all you need to do is as simple as, okay, flex. Okay, got it?
Yeah.
As simple as doing applying display flex and changing whatever display property that is having the from the user agent style sheet. That could be block or inline block, table cell. If you want to make a something display, you know a flex box, all you need to do is apply display flex. So if something happens when you make a element, apply display flex. So think of it as a
Okay.
container. So let's say that you have
I
a three.
used it. I used it in before task.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So uh, we did our first task, at the end we used the flexbox as well there to center items. uh,
Mm.
yeah, so just so it's so simple. One of the main thing with the flex is it is so simple to arrange elements. Okay, so to center elements, to arrange, put them at the starting or at the end, or in the beginning or at the end. That is so simple, so you don't have to deal with this measurement, doing a absolute position, absolute, and then left zero, top zero, bottom zero. We don't have to deal with all of them. So when you apply container, when you apply a display flex to any container, let's take a, we have a container. Okay, let's take, we have this container. Okay, so you apply display flux this container for this container. Okay, so
Okay.
let's consider it as a div. Okay, okay, so
Mm.
you applied a display flex for this. Immediately what happens, it becomes a flex container. Okay,
Okay.
flex container, and anything which is inside, you don't have to specify. Implicitly they become flex items. Okay,
Okay.
anything inside. Okay, So anything inside becomes flex items. Okay, so this is very important. So when you apply display a flux to the container, so that container becomes a flex container and all items inside become flex items.
Okay.
Okay, and there are two accesses for a flex, which is a main axis and cross axis. Okay, so the direction depends on the axis. Okay, so what is the default direction, which is a row. Okay,
Okay.
row. So it is very important for you to understand the main axis and cross axis, because if you change the axis and how items are arranged, the everything will change. Okay, so how the items are placed? Items are placed along a main axis. Okay, so just there are actually, let's go to, let me open a browser. Okay, so there are actually the many prominent properties that are flex flow. Okay, justify content, align self, a flex basis. Okay, and one more thing, using this flex, you can not only get a very much flexibility, freedom in terms of placing items, and also you can make your page responsive.
Okay.
Okay, okay, so now let me go to code pen. Okay, so now let's see this flex in action. Okay, and there are actually all sorts of related CSS are here on MDN. We have seen the other day CSS property reference. I'll show you. Okay, all CSS. Now let's see a flex in action. Okay, let's define a div. Okay, okay, so now what is this? This is container. I'm giving width 500 pixel, height that's a 300 pixel. Okay, for us to see the actual dimensions of this container, I'm giving a color gray. Okay, and now let's place some items here. Okay, let's place a few items here that are div. Okay, uh, let's make it section. Okay, like we have discussed, there is no difference between section and div. Just though that is a HTML5 semantic tag. So okay, now div, let's call it as a class item. Okay,
Okay.
and okay, now item red, blue, green. Okay, so I'm just dot item height 50 pixel, width 50 pixel. Okay, now dot red
Item red.
yeah. Okay,
Oh. Class name. Class name is
yeah, I don't have to see, I can give their I just multiple classes I have given. Okay, so all classes,
okay.
all three elements are items, so this thing will be applied to all three. But thing is that I took another three classes, red, blue, green. Okay, so I'm just giving their very specific color, and if there is any specific CSS I will give there later. Okay, so background color blue. Okay, so green. And this this is according to usual flow, and why they are actually, why they are side by side, one after other. Why? Because what is
One
the,
after the other.
they are of type display block. Even though regardless of their size, they occupy whole space.
Content.
Yeah, whole row. Yeah, so they are actually placed one after other. So unless they are display inline, which is according to the flow. Okay. Why is this not applied?
Background color D.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So what we have discussed, what is a container here? This section is the container, and these are that are inside. Okay. Yeah. So this is according to the flow. If you wanted to arrange them, you need to make actually, you need to make each of them display inline block. Okay, that exercise we have done already, so that they will be placed one after other. Okay. See, that is a very hectic. Let's say that I can make a display inline block. Okay, and they are placed one after other. Okay, right? But I don't have so much control where where to place, how to arrange them. Should I place them in the beginning, center, or after at the end? No, that thing I can't control. So this is, I place display inline so that they are inline blocks, but they are not placed one after other. So if you take what we have discussed, take a container and you just make that display flex. So what happens? You see what happened? Now when I make a container, okay, you see what is a container, which is a section. Okay, so when I made that section display flex, implicitly all elements that are inside that container, in the sense not descendants, childs. Okay, all children of this container become the flex items.
Okay.
Okay, now another thing we have discussed, the actual flow, this is called flex flow. Okay.
Mm.
Okay, the flow of these elements is flex direction is row by default.
Okay.
Okay, so you see how much heavy lifting, heavy work. Let me tell you, if I ask you, I don't want a red, blue, green in this direction. I want these elements in a reverse direction. What would you do without using Flexbox? Let's say now you don't know how can you do that using Flexbox, and so
Without
forget out.
using that
Yeah, so you either need to go here and you need to rearrange these elements, and there would
track.
be
Yeah.
right there wouldn't be uh, there is no effective way using CSS. Yeah, and
Mm.
it is such a hectic job. Okay, it is such a hectic job. Now, so like we discussed, what are these items? Each item is flex item.
Flex
Okay,
item.
so these items are arranged using the main axis, alongside the main axis. Okay,
Okay.
so now I can say another one. Okay, so justify content. Okay, center. Okay, so see where they are placed when I use justify content
Yeah.
center. See, justify content is a CSS property that you apply on a flex container. When you use that, there are multiple options for the justify content. Okay,
Okay.
so let me take you to this CSS MDL. Okay.
Mm.
So here is the justify content. There are multiple things. It takes a flex start, flex end, okay, center, space between, space around, and space evenly. Those properties are here, and I'll show you. We'll see them each of them in action. Okay. Uh, so you see, you refer later once we are done with this and do the documentation and refer. Okay. So each of them.
Okay.
Okay, so what are these are the values: a start, end, okay, a flex start, flex end, center, okay, and left, right, normal. Okay, there are other things: space between, space around, space evenly, stitch. Okay, so these are the prominent ones we use. Center, all items are center, place center. Okay, are we touching any item here? No, we are not touching
No.
anything about a flex item. Okay, see what is the main axis here? Main axis is row, cross axis is
Yeah.
vertical. Okay,
Mm.
okay, so you need to, that is very important. Let's say that if I change the flex direction, the how do you change the axis? Using a flex direction. Okay,
Okay.
okay, so if I make a flex direction column, the what would be the main axis?
Cool.
Column is the main axis and row is a cross axis. Okay,
Okay.
okay,
Okay. Okay.
okay, got it. See, this is a main axis and cross axis, which is very important. Okay, see,
Mm.
when I flex direction by default is row, which means the main axis is
Okay.
row, column is cross axis. I can change that direction using flex that axis using flex direction, and this column becomes a main axis and the row becomes cross axis. Okay. So now what did I said? Justify content is a property that will make all items arranged along the main axis. Now, since I changed the main axis flex direction, which is a column, they are placed center alongside the main axis. Got it? Okay. So now I can, I don't have to give flex direction row because that by default a row. Okay. Row. Now justify content. Other things just now I have shown you. Please feel free to go through all of them. Okay. So one of the thing is center. Okay. Another one is, let's say you want to actually arrange these elements, and you want to actually put a space between these elements evenly. Okay. For that we have a flex direction value, which is a space between. Okay, what it does?
Provide space between items.
So now, since you used Flexbox and you haven't used any absolute measurements, it is responsive. Okay. So it doesn't matter how let's say that if I go here and change this 200 only. Okay, I have changed the outer container size. So
it got adjusted to that.
Yeah, adjusted to that one. So I don't have to worry about the left, right, and bottom, top when we use a position absolute.
Yes.
Okay, so let's make a 500. So and 700. Okay, let's make it a 300. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So this thing same applies. Responsive. Why do we create a responsive website? So we want our website to look normal, not awkward and weird on different on different devices. Mobile phone, desktop, on different screens. Now I asked you, flex direction. Okay. Okay. So let's say that another one is let's say you want a space around these elements. Okay. Okay. Well, now these are actually kind of glued to outer edges. Yeah. Right. So we want to give some breathing space around elements. How would you do that? For that we have a space around. So what happened now?
Okay.
What happened? You see?
It was like only from the right and left sides, not from the top and
not from
bottom.
the top. And we'll see, how to center from the top as well. I'll show you. For that we have property. So what happened here? So we have predefined properties for all sorts of arrangements. Widely used arrangements. So that thing is that we don't have to make use of all margin left, margin bottom, and all. Okay. Position absolute, top, left, right, bottom, top. Yeah. So now another one is a space evenly. Okay, you see. Okay. You see, this thing is, let's say, space around. If I use space around, what happened? This one is not only responsive, okay, which means that when container size changes, it adapts. It is also the work with, you can add many items, okay. I have simply added other items. Now you see,
Yeah.
okay. What happened? Did I change anything? Any CSS? Did you see?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have added other items, so which is simply adapted to all of the newly added elements.
Okay.
Okay. So now let's say that now let's remove. So do you understand now? I haven't changed anything in a CSS after adding new
Mm.
elements. But is this thing the
Yeah.
case? When you use
Mm.
the position absolute, we will mess up whole
Sorry.
thing, right?
Mm.
So
Mm.
when you manually place, now it is adopted, and I use space around, so when there are few elements, we got more space around. Now more elements with less space around, we can use a space between, space around, space evenly. Okay. Now let's remove all those elements, other
Okay.
elements. Another one, flex direction, is row reverse. Okay, let's this thing reload. Okay, so this is the main axis. How do you control the main axis? Uh, cross axis, flex direction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Okay.
so there are few properties for a flex direction, which is a row. Another one is row reverse. So what happened if I use row reverse? See, I got green one first, blue one next, and red one last.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so I don't have to worry.
Mm.
See, I have container elements are there, and I thought actually wanted to display all those elements in reverse. But without this, that would be a hectic thing if you wanted to do with CSS without Flexbox. Otherwise, you
Okay.
end up changing those, rearranging those elements. And now the
Mm-hmm.
flex direction is from right to left. Got it? From right to left,
Yeah.
right to left, and bottom to top. And you have a column reverse as well. Okay.
Mm.
Okay. So now for
Okay.
what did I get? Green, blue, red. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And now just let's stick with the row. The way do you find all properties? Documentation is your friend. Okay. So here is justify,
Mm.
justify item, justify self, and we'll see. We'll cover all of them. But when you find lost, okay, here is where you
Mm.
must look. Okay. And
Okay.
now let's stick with the row. Okay. Here is, now we wanted to, okay, align our content to the center. What justify content does?
Arranges the
On a
elements
cross,
within the content.
so on main axis,
Okay.
yeah, justify content arranges the elements along main axis. Let's say you want to align the
Okay.
content along a cross axis. So what is the cross axis here? Okay, what is the cross axis here
Mm.
now? The main axis is row, cross axis is column.
Mm.
Okay,
Column. Yeah.
align content, okay,
Okay.
which is center.
వాటి రెండింటికి డిఫరెన్స్ ఏంటిదండి? జస్టిఫై కంటెంట్ కి అలైన్
See,
కంటెంట్ కి
justify content, like I said, justify align content. See, justify we use. I think justify we use along main axis. Okay.
ఓకే.
Justify we use along the main axis, and align we use along the cross axis.
ఓకే.
Okay. Okay, so align item center. Okay, you see what is cross axis? Please understand now. See, now what is the main axis? Since it is row, what is the main axis? Row. What is the cross axis? Column. Okay.
Column.
Yeah, if I use justify content, that will place elements along main axis, which is horizontally. So let me break it down. Okay, instead of main axis, cross axis, let's call it what is the main axis here? Main axis is horizontal, cross axis is vertical. Okay, since I used the main axis justify content, which is horizontal, they are horizontally placed. Align items is along cross axis, which is vertical. If I remove, they are placed at the beginning. And if I use align items center, what is cross axis? Vertical. They are vertically centered now. Okay, so now you tell me, when do you use justify? You would use justify when you want to place item along main axis. When you use align, okay, you would use align when you wanted to place items alongside cross axis. That can be hard. See, I can change the axis now. I can change the column. Okay, now what is the main axis? Tell me. You see, now
column.
Yeah, column is a main axis, row is a cross axis. You see, so now the justify content, they place, just if I remove, now you tell me, if I remove align items, where items will be? They are, see, they will stick to the left.
Okay.
Why? Column is the main axis. I use justify content to place them alongside the main axis, which is a vertically centered. They are okay. But I use the space around. But I want to make them horizontally centered. Okay, horizontally centered means now horizontal is a cross axis. What would you use to place items, along a cross axis? So flex items are laid along a cross axis using align. Align. Yeah. Align items. End. I place end. You see, they will move to flex end. Okay, they move to, you see, end of the container. Okay.
Yeah.
And let's we have flex start. Okay, flex and center. Okay. Got it?
Yeah.
So other values are there. That is that are flex start, flex end we have used, and center, baseline. Okay. Start and other are there. Okay, just how you wanted to place them. Okay, now change the flex direction to row. Okay, you see how easy it is, using this cross axis and main axis. You are not only able to place them properly, you are able to place how they are arranged, whether you want these items to be arranged horizontally or vertically, horizontally as a columns or vertically as a rows. Okay, so see, I simply change the row to column. Our items placed alongside horizontally, now placed, vertically, so one after other. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So now there are other things. The first things you need to actually, these are the things you want to work with. What are the,
Mm.
see, am I disturbing anything related to container? Sorry, item.
Mm.
I haven't touched anything on a item. So everything
Mm.
we are doing everything on an item, container. And let's say you may ask, I wanted to place a red top, but all other elements, like this. Okay. For that,
Mm.
we have a properties called, okay, flex, sorry, self align. Okay, align self. Stop. You see, what did I
Okay.
do? I went to the red one.
Mm.
I used the align self. See, this align self is related
Okay.
to what? Flex. Okay.
To that particular
Yeah,
item.
yeah, align self, that we use it on a item.
Yeah.
Okay, and align content, align items, justify content, just flex direction, those are used on a container.
Okay.
Okay, so, and I
Mm.
want this green to be placed, at the end, bottom, align self end, align self end.
And okay.
Sorry, uh, yeah. Okay,
Okay.
flex end. Okay, there are differences between end, flex end. Okay, start, flex start. Okay, and now
Mm.
I don't want this breathing space around. All I need to do is go here, instead of space around, because space around means give some space around the outer elements as well. Okay,
Elements. Yeah.
yeah. So we don't want space around, we just want a space between. Okay,
O-
so you see. Okay, and we did in our
Yeah.
last exercise, we did this using what? Position absolute.
Mm.
Yeah, so we
And
made all of them
link.
position absolute, left to 0, top 0, and for this one we give bottom 0, right 0. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So now it is such a, flexible, you can change all again. This is like, it will adapt to the changes to the outer container, and again, let's add other elements. Okay, let's add a blue here. Okay, another blue items. How this thing will change? You see, all blue items will come. Okay,
Okay.
okay. So let's put this thing, put them here. Okay, now you see. Okay, previously I placed them after green, so they look like that. Okay, got it.
Yeah. Understood.
So there are other properties that are, what have we used here? Justify.
Content.
Yeah, justify content, align items.
Align center.
Yeah,
Align self.
align self. Okay,
Then flex direction.
flex direction. And there is another property called, let's put, so many elements. Let's remove this thing. Let's remove this thing. Self start. Flex end. Let's add so many elements. How it will work? What happened? It's all messed up now.
Yeah.
Okay. For that, hello.
Yeah, I'm listening.
So everything is messed up right now.
Yeah.
So that for that we have a something called a wrap.
Okay.
Okay. So what we have something called, so by default it is no wrap. Okay.
Mm.
So go see, this would be the case if you don't use Flexbox, you have to deal with all that mess, manually. When you if you actually manually calculate all those calculations, arrangements, number of pixels you would place. Okay, so let's say that your form, HTML form is made dynamic. Okay, or the content inside is a dynamic. Okay, in such a case, what happens? For some reason, a lot of elements are came from the back end. Okay, in such a case,
Mm.
it would be total mess. Okay, for that reason, let's add, by default it is a no wrap. Okay, so that is the reason whole elements are placed, you know like this mess. Flex
Mm.
wrap, where would you use that flex wrap? On a container.
Yeah.
Okay, flex wrap, what is by default? It is no wrap,
Mm.
and you can change that to wrap.
Okay.
Okay, now what happened? Okay, so to differentiate, instead of blue, let's give other colors. Okay, what is blue here? Okay, so just increase this a little bit. And, oh, not high. Okay, see. Okay, so now if I don't use flex wrap, what happens? You see, all elements are squeezed together. Okay,
Yeah.
squeezed together and like a mess. Okay, and you know their shape will also be unique. You see, like this is not actually 100 width. Okay, uh, they are in fact a squeeze and arranged in a single direction. And if I use flex wrap, what happened? They are wrapped. Okay, which is like, if you take a notepad, there's a word wrap, if you on Windows.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you
Mm.
don't use a wrap, whole content will be placed, displayed on single line. If you use a word wrap,
Mm.
the extra, the content which goes beyond the you put, which will be placed down to the next line. Same thing here. items are placed like this, and when no more items are actually, it is not possible to fit more, any other items, other, they will be placed on a new line. Okay, so let's add we can actually can come here. Let's add more elements. What happens if you add more elements? What happens? You will get a new line. Got it? And that on that new line, they are arranged, again properly, based on those. We use the since space between. They try to give space in between. Since for above two lines, all are placed, other extra elements are placed into new line. Okay, let's add another element. Other element will be again placed on a new line. Okay, right. So if I remove wrap, again they will all be placed. What is the default property for flex wrap? Which is a no wrap. These are all squeezed, right?
Okay.
Okay. So if I use wrap, flex wrap, they are placed properly arranged. So according to their size. If they are exceeding, they are not. It is not possible to fit them in a new line. They will be placed on a new next line. This is where another property comes, which is align content. Okay. So align content, difference between align content and align items is that, okay, what happened, you see? Okay, so align content is actually effective when you have multiple lines. Okay, so align content places, the whole, multiple lines, either center, start, end. Okay, so let's say I want to place them at the end.
Flex end.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. You see? And it is not it is only applied when you have multiple lines.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is align content. Think this way. Align content means whole content in the Flexbox. Okay. And think this way. Align item is applied to just the item. Okay.
Yeah.
And this, it doesn't apply. Align content will have no effect if you don't have multiple lines. Okay. So it will take all multiple lines when items are wrapped, and we can actually place them, flex start, flex end, okay, on the center. Other elements are also there, other values are also there, and you explore. Go to the MD and CSS property and explore. Okay.